Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. We try to cut through the noise, bring you the insights that really matter. And today we're diving into a pretty fascinating space. It's sort of at the intersection of design, consumer behavior, and innovation, all focused on how products get presented. We're talking about the future of packaging, specifically jewelry packaging. And this deep dive, it's really for you. Maybe you're a brand owner planning your next move, or designer hunting for trends, or just curious about what makes a product click. Our main source today, the report called Jewelry Packaging Trends 2026, The New Essentials, really lays out what's coming. And for some real-world context, we're pulling in insights from Annie Zhang, CEO of Sweetie Gifts. Now, Annie brings like 2 decades from the flower industry, which is surprisingly similar, actually, in needing great presentation. She's got a really sharp eye for market dynamics, visiting markets in the US, Europe, working with clients everywhere from Australia to Japan, plus deep knowledge of the Chinese supply chain. So her perspective is super practical.
Absolutely. And our mission today really is to get beyond just the superficial wow factor that may be used to cut it. By 2026, consumers, they're not just looking for pretty, they're demanding sustainability, real utility, personal meaning, and more tech-driven storytelling. So this deep dive, it's going to show how packaging is shifting, from just protecting something to actually curating a whole memorable moment for the buyer. It's a fundamental shift in purpose.
Okay, so if that wow factor isn't the main goal anymore, what are people looking for by 2026? When they, open that special box, what's really driving this big change?
Yeah, it's fascinating how the whole landscape's changing. The report's pretty clear. Packaging has to evolve, or brands, well, they risk just fading away. It's not about flash anymore. It's about a deeper connection. And that means packaging needs these 4 new essentials: sustainability, utility, personal meaning, and that tech-enabled storytelling. It's really not just a container protecting an item, the whole unboxing thing. It needs to be this carefully curated moment, reflecting the brand's values, connecting with the buyer on multiple levels, almost like the first chapter of the product story.
That really reframes it, doesn't it? So if the purpose is changing so much, what does that look like in terms of the actual design? Which brings us to this idea of minimalism with emotional depth. How does less is more become meaningful here? Especially when you think luxury often means, well, more is more.
Right. Well, this trend, it signals a move towards sophistication, a kind of quiet confidence in the craft. It's maybe a reaction against all the noise. People want calm, authenticity, trust in the product itself, not just flashy packaging that gets tossed. So when we talk minimalism with emotional depth, we're seeing specific things. Think monochrome or muted colors, matte beige, dusty rose, slate gray, soft ivory. Those are big, often paired with really premium textures like linen wraps or suede touch finishes, soft matte coatings, things that feel high quality without being loud. And the branding itself, super understated, small embossed logos, maybe blind debossing instead of huge graphics. The emotional depth, it comes from the trust and integrity those subtle things convey. It makes the unboxing feel like a quiet reveal, not just a quick, wow. It's like saying, the value's inside and we trust you'll see it.
I like that, a quiet revelation. Yeah, it suggests real confidence in the jewelry itself, letting the packaging enhance, not shout over it.
Okay.
But if the look is getting more subtle, how does the utility side get more obvious? Seems like a bit of a contradiction, maybe. Which leads us to the next big thing, multifunctional and reusable packaging. What kind of clever stuff are we seeing there?
Exactly. And it's not just about saving space or being green, though that's part of it. It's about making that gift moment last longer. Packaging you throw out right away. Consumers see that as wasteful now, and brands want a lasting impression. So the trend report, it highlights things like drawer-style jewelry boxes. They look elegant, and you can use them for storage afterwards. Simple. We're also seeing these rigid pouches, maybe vegan leather or felt, great for travel, keeping pieces safe, and keepsake boxes designed for makeup, trinkets, other little things long after the jewelry's out. Annie Zhang at Sweetie Gifts mentioned brands asking for custom rose-shaped boxes that double as vanity decor. That really lifts the whole unboxing experience because the package itself becomes this lasting, beautiful thing in the home, a reminder.
Okay, we've hit the practical side, the look. But I'm really curious about the emotional core here. How do brands go beyond just looking good to actually building real connections through just a box? This is where it gets really interesting, I think, building deeper connections with cultural symbols and personalization. How does that work?
Yeah, this is where packaging truly becomes a storyteller. Integrating cultural symbols. It's about tapping into something that resonates deeply with the consumer's own story or maybe their aspirations. It means weaving in bits from literature, history, art, philosophy, even current stuff like slogans or meme culture reflecting modern feelings. So, for instance, you might see brands using local art or historical motifs like indigenous patterns, ancient symbols, things tied to their heritage or a place. There's also slogan-driven packaging, catchy phrases, maybe social media inspired, that make a brand feel really current. And subtle philosophical or religious symbols like eternity, balance, light, they speak to these universal human things. It all makes a brand feel more authentic, relatable, like it gets the audience's identity. And that idea, that authentic connection, it links right into personalization and telling meaningful stories. Jewelry, it's so often tied to big personal moments, engagements, anniversaries, graduations, right? So the packaging has to reflect that weight. What's trending? Things like customizable cards for personal messages, letting the giver add their own touch, that's key. We're seeing strong storytelling like QR codes linking to where a gemstone came from, or maybe a video from the artisan who made it. And for global brands, using cultural motifs, Japanese, Nordic, Latin-inspired designs, that's gaining real momentum. It helps build that emotional connection beyond just the item itself, making it feel unique, especially for limited editions or seasonal stuff.
It definitely sounds like brands are thinking longer term, creating things that live on past the sale. And that idea lasting longer kind of brings us to the next big one, sustainability. It's clear green packaging isn't just a bonus anymore, it's expected, right? What's really pushing this, and what are the new rules?
Oh, absolutely. Sustainability is non-negotiable now. It's a key differentiator, and consumers are actively looking for proof, verifiable proof of low impact, which means a big, fast shift to biodegradable and recycled materials. We're talking bamboo pulp, cornstarch bioplastics, FSC-certified paperboard, that's the Forest Stewardship Council, ensuring sustainable forestry, and a huge focus on post-consumer recycled paper. Also, a major cutback on plastics. If you use plastic, it has to be recyclable or reusable. Virgin plastic, that's a big red flag for shoppers now. And we're seeing more luxurious upcycled textiles, reused linen, organic cotton pouches replacing things like synthetic velvet. The report hammers this home. Guilt-free luxury is the new standard, not some premium add-on. And crucially, this commitment needs to be transparent. Generic claims like eco-friendly, not enough anymore. By 2026, standards are moving towards QR-enabled traceability, so customers can see exactly where materials came from, how they were processed. You'll also see more visible compliance marks like CE for Europe or REACH, that's the strict European chemical regulation, guarantees safety. These aren't just logos. They're proof of ethical and environmental promises. Retail buyers, especially in Europe and the US, they're demanding this paperwork now before they'll even stock a product. Annie Zhang confirmed Sweetie Gifts offers FSC paper, biodegradable wraps, certified inks specifically to meet these tough requirements. For brands, the trick isn't just finding these materials, it's proving their origin and compliance through the whole supply chain. That's the challenge.
Okay, so we've covered minimalism, subtlety, but packaging isn't all muted tones, right?
Yeah.
Especially for gifts. What about more art-forward, color-rich designs? Things that feel luxurious, but maybe more vibrant.
You're spot on. There's definitely a place for really expressive packaging, especially for those big gifting moments. Popular directions include these deep gemstone-inspired colors, think witch emerald green, vibrant amethyst purple, warm citrine yellow, sparkling topaz blue, a really luxe, impactful look. Often boosted with subtle foil details or embossing, maybe touches of rose gold, silver, or champagne. It elevates it without being overwhelming. And there's a really nice trend towards artist collaborations, hand-drawn designs, limited edition wraps. They can make the package itself a collectible, piece of art. Sweetie Gifts, for example, they've done this beautifully by combining preserved flower art right with the jewelry, creating gift boxes that feel like artworks themselves. It's like a double gift.
That is a lovely touch, blending two kinds of beauty. What about digital interaction? Everything seems to be getting smart. How is tech-integrated smart packaging changing the unboxing, maybe in ways we haven't thought of?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. Packaging is going digital, but not necessarily in how it looks, more in how you interact with it. We're seeing a big rise in digital experiences through NFC chips or QR codes right in the box. And they're not just links. They can tell the story of that specific piece you bought, give personalized care instructions for your gem, let you register insurance instantly, or even link to a video message from the giver if it's a gift. Really personal. Beyond that, smart security is coming in. RFID chips, for example. These aren't just tags. They can give each piece a unique, secure digital ID. This means brands can track inventory super accurately, sure, but the big thing, consumers can authenticate their purchase with a quick scan. That pretty much kills the counterfeit threat for high-value or limited edition pieces. It builds a huge new layer of trust and exclusivity and luxury.
That's fascinating, especially the anti-counterfeit side. Wow. And speaking of access, how is luxury packaging usually seen as so exclusive actually becoming more inclusive and accessible? For everyone.
Right. Inclusive design is becoming really important because, well, luxury should be enjoyable for everyone. So that means packaging design with things like larger fonts, clear icons, making it easier to read and understand, especially for gifts across generations. We're also seeing a shift to genuinely easy to open closures, getting rid of excessive ribbons, hidden flaps, tricky latches, things that can be frustrating if you have dexterity issues or, frankly, if you're just eager to get inside. And multi-layer boxes are being designed to actually help organize the contents, not overwhelm you, making it intuitive, enjoyable. Since jewelry is so often gifted between generations, making sure everyone from a teenager to a grandparent can easily open and appreciate the packaging. It's a simple but powerful touch. It brightens a brand's appeal. So yeah, hopefully no more wrestling matches with cellophane and hidden tabs just to see the necklace.
Huh. I think many of us can relate to that. So, okay, pulling all this together, what does it mean for brands trying to actually do this stuff? How does a company like Sweetie Gifts help them navigate these trends and make these complex ideas happen?
Well, Annie Zhang's team at Sweetie Gifts, they're really focused on helping brands create that custom flower plus jewelry packaging that hits all these points, reflecting brand values, meeting consumer demands. They get the challenges. So they prioritize offering those eco-friendly materials, FSC paper, biodegradable wraps, certified inks hitting that sustainability and transparency need head on. And crucially, they offer a lot of creative R&D support. They guide brands from mood boards through 3D renderings to custom samples, helping them really see and tweak the concept before committing to production, reduces risk. They specialize in bespoke personalization, precise foil stamping, unique ribbons, custom box shapes that really stand out. And because they have their own factories in Yiwu and Kunming, they can offer flexible order quantities, MOQs, and pretty fast delivery. That's huge for brands needing to be nimble. Importantly, they've developed specialized formats ready for flower plus jewelry gifts, elegant drawer boxes, dome lids, preserved rose displays, all designed specifically for those high-impact, memorable moments we talked about. They're basically helping brands shift from just shipping a product to really curating an entire event around it.
So much to think about there. What really stands out to you from this whole deep dive, if you had to pick one thing?
I think if you connect all these threads, the big takeaway is that packaging just isn't a passive container anymore. Not at all. It's become this active, integral part of the brand's whole story. It's the physical manifestation of its values. It's a vital tool for building those deep emotional bonds. And it absolutely has to keep up with what modern consumers demand around responsibility and experience. It's often the very first physical touch point. And more, it's designed to be a lasting one that builds loyalty and carries the narrative forward.
Okay, so here's a thought to leave you with. If packaging is really becoming about curating moments and telling stories, how might the traditional retail experience itself need to change to really leverage these new kinds of packaging? What possibilities open up when the box itself is a key part of the product story, not just something to get through?